Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Thank you so much for being here. Connie Balmer. Connie Balmer, I um I was looking at a email, like is it email or text message? Anyway, I have something waiting for me over at the official Royal Sussex um mail room. That one. Do you know anything about that? Do you know anything about that? I know where it comes from because even though I haven't actually received it yet, it's in the most beautiful shipping box I've ever seen. So nice that I've actually gifted one to someone. As you know, um, one of the kids saw it and was like, "Wow, that's nice." So anyway, Connie Balmer, thank you so much. I don't know when I'm gonna get it because I have such a tight week this week, but thank you in advance. That was very kind of you. Let's see. Annie Bullard, thank you so much for being here. And thank you for being first. So let me see. But yes, that is the official mailing address if you want to send a postcard from your vacation or Christmas, holiday, Rosh Hashanah, whatever. That's the mailing address. Now, remember, I don't live there, so do not show up with nothing but a raincoat and a smile because I do not live there. All right. Okay, can of soda. Oh, well, I'm happy you're here. Never click so fast. Poor Kate, poor downtrodden, down in the mouth, just down. Poor Kate, so dowdy and oh, she just hates her life. I am enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. I mean, I don't want to see anybody suffer, but talk about a gilded cage, but we'll get to that later. And of course, the Sunday Times bestseller, They Bloom Because of You by Jessica Ulrich. That, of course, is the Meghan effect. Okay, let's move on here. So, the Garden Tea Bloom box is here. A limited collaboration with High Camp Gardenias featuring fresh garden blooms alongside as herbal or herbal. Do you say herbal or herbal? I'm going to say herbal because I think I always say herbal. I never say herbal. Herbal peppermint tea and sage honey with the honeycomb. A simple pairing for the table and the afternoon. Shop at the link in the bio on asever.com. So you could just go to asever.com. You can go to Instagram and go to asever, and you can link to the website there. You know, it was a little rich for my blood, but I keep looking at those I don't think I've ever had a gardenia. I bet they smell just like perfume, don't they? Anyway, um, I'll never know. But the only place I'm going to see gardenias is watching, or should I say, watching an old clip of Ladies Sing the Blues. Yeah, watching Ladies Sing the Blues or something like that. That's about the only place I'm going to see a gardenia. But Um, you know, it's worth it because they have to ship it, right? It's just for some of us squatties, it's a little bit much for our blood, but what a beautiful, you just open up the box and voila. But and this is why we play the lottery. Yeah, this is why we play the lottery. And oh, I'm a little bit out of order here. I see what I did there. Well, I just have to go back and forth, won't I? Let's see. I love gardenias. They smell wonderful. Do they? I don't think I've ever smelled one before. Wow. Yeah, I feel like I'm missing something, but you know, oh, the H is silent. Thank you, can of soda. So herbal. The H is silent. And there's this pain in the neck content creator. I don't know if you've seen her before, but let me do this very briefly. She rented a loft apartment, right? And after she rented the apartment, the building became incredibly popular overnight, right? And so when it came time for to renew the lease, the move-in special was over. And so I think they were going to go up $200 on the rent. She said that that was a retaliation, that they raised her rent because other people in the building were jealous of her for paying only 1750 in a building where you could easily pay like 2500, right? A one bedroom for 1750 in that area, that is a bargain. So, um where was I going with this? I forgot what point I was going to make. Hmm, that was fast. Any what was it? What point was I going to make? Oh Lord, it just slipped my mind just that fast. Um was it about jealousy? Was it about envy? I don't know what it was about. But anyway, she started having trouble with the neighbors. Don't know if you know who I'm talking about, but I'm not gonna, direct anybody to that nonsense because I don't want you to think that I watch anything as tacky as that. But it all started off with one of those, how much do you pay for your rent in Chicago? Right? Like the guy say, how much do you pay for rent in New York or Manhattan? That's how it started. Well, there's a guy in Chicago that does that. And anyway, there's been this big soap opera with this person, the poor manager who was trying to be nice to bring her into this building, and one of the neighbors, and there's been threats and restraining orders, and oh, it's like a big soap opera. And the only bad thing is I forgot why I brought that. I forgot why I brought that up. Lord have mercy. Am I having a senior moment? I think I'm suffering from what they call sometimers because sometimes I remember and sometimes I don't. Oh, well, when it comes back to me, I forgot what point I was going to make. Welcome to Senior Citizens. I'm having a senior moment. Oh, man. Let's see. What is that? You have that CRS disease. What is that? Is that when you're multitasking, setting up your podcast, and then you start talking about something, and then you know what happened is, by the way, thank you to, let me see here. Oh, oh, you know what? I thought I had got a message from someone, and I looked at my phone, and that's what distracted me is when I looked over at my phone. And yeah, so everything pretty much went south from there. Let me see. Can't remember shit. That's it. The CRS. Can't remember shit. Okay, so you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna stop looking at stuff that don't concern me right now, and then I should be okay. Because I find myself constantly looking to the right at the screen off to the side there. Um, and I probably ought not do that. I should just focus on the business at hand and stop being so nosy. Okay, give me a second. I'm going to open up another screen so I can see what you all are seeing. That much, I at least have to do that. Okay. All right, that is done. Then I'm going to close a couple of screens because I got about 50 screens open, and that is only going to slow us down. All right, that's cool. That's cool. And that's cool. All right. Yeah, I forgot what I was going to say. And we'll just keep moving. Oh, did it have something to do with this book maybe? I don't know. So congratulations, Jessica Ulrich. Go Australia. So number one bestseller in books. They bloom because of you. And then take a look here. Penguin Life Books says, we're so excited to share the news that They Bloom Because of You is a Sunday Times bestseller. Congratulations, Jessica Ulrich. Thank you to everyone who has supported this beautifully observed collection of poems about the ever changing journey of motherhood. Well, you know what? If you know a mom, a new mom, this might be a perfect gift. You know, if you have any grandkids on the way, or maybe you just had some grandkids, or maybe you got some children or something like that, maybe this is for you. Kevon Slim says that family can save a lot of money if they simply stop putting up those barriers during their outings. Yes, that is a good idea because it's not like anybody is going to show up. You're not going to get those crowds of people clamoring to get a look at them. That does not happen. You don't need barriers if you're just going to take a school bus full of kids to interact with the royals. You don't need a school bus for that. You don't need a school bus if you're going to have the pensioners pile up in the buses and come out to look at the royals. No need. Okay. But thank you so much for that. Now, back to the gardenias. The Garden Tea Bloom Box, a limited collaboration with High Camp Supply. You know, I only just glanced at this. I don't know what makes it so special. So I decided to go to the website, and it says here, created in collaboration with High Camp Supply. The Garden Tea Bloom Box brings together blooms of High Camp gardenias and a mix of, is it peonies, camellias, greens, jasmine, and mint with as ever herbal peppermint tea and sage honey with honeycomb. You know what? I bet you that box smells amazing. I mean, look at that. You got the gardenia, right? You have jasmine, mint, and peonies, and what is the other one? Camellia greens. I bet you when you open up that box, it's like, you know what I mean? You could just, I would just sit there holding the box all day. I would sit there with the box in my lap, just taking a good whiff of it because it's got to be very intense when you open it up. I bet you it just fills the room with fragrance. Meghan knows what she's doing. Meghan knows what she's doing. This fragrance set includes a thoughtful mix of long stems for classic bouquets and loose blossoms designed for floating arrangements, allowing for multiple placements throughout your home. This box brings together fresh blooms and simple pantry comforts, flowers for the table, and tea for the afternoon. Now, here's the important part. Shipping. The shipping, that's what I was concerned about. The Garden Tea Bloom box includes fresh water that ships directly from High Camp Supply to ensure quality and freshness upon arrival. Because of this, the box will arrive separately from the items you may add to your cart. Wow. These floral shipments are being timed to arrive before Easter Sunday, April 15th, and will begin shipping on Tuesday, March the 31st. Shipping on this item is $35 and only offered throughout the continental United States. So you have to be in the continental United States to receive this gift. That's the only way that it's shipping. Okay. I hope that clears up anything that you may have been wondering about this. If only, like me, you're just curious about it. But, well, I'm kind of not. So the honey and the peppermint, it does not arrive like that. You know what I mean? Is that what it said? It doesn't arrive like that. I would kind of want to open up the box and have everything there. I mean, I guess you could gift it like that, but I like the way, I like the aesthetics, you know? It's kind of loose and fun. Heather Stroud says, oh, missed that one. There it is. They send flowers all around the world and they arrive beautifully. Oh, okay. I thought the only way you can get flowers like that would be you have to buy them in bulk, you know, like for a retailer. But I suppose you could send something, you know, because it's going to go airmail anyway. Okay. All right. Oh, you know what? That's what I just shared with you. Now, I have a soundbite for you. Let's get into some of the juicy stuff, shall we? Oh, this is going to be weird. You know why? Because I had to get a new phone, and every time I try to do something with my phone, you know, I have to connect to things again. Otherwise, the setup was very easy, but I'm going to spend the next few days getting reconnected with everything. You know what I mean? First world problems, if I ever heard, right? First world problems. Now let's see if this phone buffers like the old phone. Remember how the other phone used to buffer? Let's see if this happens. Please don't buffer.
You know, one person's brainwashed to leave could be another person's liberated to leave. Perhaps Meghan gave Harry what he needed, which was an exit door.
And maybe the confidence to do it.
Yeah.
Then may I point out, on the subject of confidence, let's have a look what's happened. Firstly, Spotify, they lost it, and they were even called grifters by an executive. Secondly, Netflix, 100 million of the first contract. The second contract, she's just said, as ever, is going on without it. Then we had the fact that...
Can I just point out, in the meantime, they've made a ton of money.
Exactly.
So
no, but they've made money, and they've succeeded in one thing, and that is...
I'm going to pause right there. You know, that's been one of my big arguments. Whatever you say, they made a ton of money. Why are you so worried about? Anyway.
Everyone knows who they are because the word of the brand has spread. That's a fact.
Okay,
absolutely.
Okay, Richard, you said let's look at the facts. The fact is, Harry said that he wanted to step away from being a working royal since his early 20s. The other fact is they haven't left the royal family. This is such an inaccuracy. Prince Harry still remains the son of King Charles III. He's still within the royal family, but they are not working royals. So let's look at that for facts. And second of all, let's look at the fact that right now, why has Tom Bower released this particular bit of the book? Because this particular bit of the book is the book that's going to garner the headlines. It's a distractionary tactic. Let's look at what Harry and Meghan are doing rather than talking about the royal family, rather than talking about the royal family being booed at the Commonwealth service last week. We're talking about this. In October 2025, I'm still talking. In October 2025, when Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor's titles were put into abeyance, there was a fivefold increase in stories about Meghan, and 79% of those stories were negative. This is all about a distractionary tactic. Instead of talking about Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor and the effect that has on the royal family, we're talking about Harry and Meghan.
To be honest, we do talk about Andrew most mornings.
Okay, and then she chimes in. We do talk about Andrew most mornings. It's not the same thing. And they only recently began to talk about Andrew most mornings. By the way, my new phone did not buffer. So but I don't want to get too excited. That was just that one time, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I've had that other phone for a while, and the battery, I mean, no sooner than I would turn it on, then I had to recharge it. So it was time. It got to the point where it just wasn't safe anymore. But otherwise, I was pretty satisfied with it. I just, you know how it is, though. Okay, so good point. Good point. Great point, actually. I keep saying I find it difficult to listen to people referring to Harry and Meghan like there's some kind of losers if they have successfully negotiated a contract or two or three that has paid them a lot of money. And the only dissatisfaction that we've heard was from Spotify. They had a change of regime. It seemed like the person that took over a certain role seemed to be a right-wing hack. So I would expect nothing less. As a matter of fact, it seems as though discussing the contract itself, in my opinion, was a breach of contract, but I don't know. They got lawyers for things like that. But it was very unprofessional, and they called him out at the time for saying that. But listen, when you are in business, you always run the risk when you're investing money That is part of being in business. And whatever happened with Spotify, they could not see eye to eye. Spotify was throwing money around at a time when they thought the podcast business was going in a certain direction. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of people moving over to Substack. That ain't Harry and Meghan's fault. You know what I'm saying? And plus, there are more people that are just going directly to YouTube and bypassing the whole podcast thing. So, what are you going to do, right? Anyway, businesses ebb and flow. They have their ups and downs. But the most important thing, the check cleared. The check cleared. Okay? As far as I'm concerned, there is no problems as long as the check cleared. And the other thing I just want to remind people is you can almost hold up a mirror to what happened with the Obamas and Spotify. Weren't they with Spotify? I think they were. But Spotify had rushed and signed up a whole lot of people because they were afraid that they were going to miss out. And it just did not work out the way they thought it would. But I'm going to say one more thing in defense of Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. If I recall, her podcast was number one. It even knocked Joe Rogan off of his throne, right? Also, I'm going to add that because of Meghan, thousands of people signed up to for memberships to Spotify. They had reached a peak in terms of memberships to Spotify. And now they have been going downward ever since. But like I said, business is changing. But they made a lot of money with the Sussexes signed on to that company. If it's anything like the Meghan effect that we know, I'm going to say they did okay for themselves. Plus, we don't know the amount of the contract. We don't know. There has never been any official word as to what the contract is. And that goes for Netflix. We just don't know. We hear these numbers thrown around. A lot of times that's based on what they would have paid other people with a similar demographic or background or whatever, but we just don't know. But what we do know is the check cleared. Baron, remember this, Amy Pasternak, Royal Insider, shared that Royals ordered journalists to always write everything negative about Harry and Meghan. Exactly. Don't write anything bad about Will and Kate, but do what you will with the Sussexes. That was a standing order, and I'm sure it continues today. Thank you so much for the super chat. The check cleared. Now, inside the rift between Harry and Meghan and the future king and queen, courtiers are concerned by the gulf between Harry and Meghan's modern ways and those of the future king and queen. Would a spell abroad for the Sussexes suit William and Kate? Now, this, of course, was April of 2021. I'm sorry, of 2019. And a lot has happened since then. Very interesting article. I am not going to share the entire article, but what I am going to do is I'm going to put the link up at the top so that you might indulge yourself at another time, because it's kind of a long article. And I'm sure, like me, you will find that ever since this time, a lot of things have changed. I was totally shocked. Well, let me do this first. Let me do this. So, this is quite a few paragraphs in. It says, to palace officials wondering how to handle the couple, there was another figure who looms large when you think of young women using a royal platform for global charitable crusading. Harry's own mother. The danger to them is that Meghan is going to be bigger than Diana. And then further down, it continues, people have moved from containment to harnessing. They have moved from containment to harnessing Harry and Meghan. There's been a reset. They sent them down to Frogmore to try to keep them out of the limelight for a bit. This is doomed to fail. This is doomed to fail. Somebody said, I would think, who wrote this article? Oh gosh, who wrote this article? I think it was Tim Shipman. It said they were doomed to fail. Sending them to Frogmore, they were doomed to fail. They are worried that Harry and Meghan are going to establish a totally separate enterprise. Well, that statement did not age very well, did it? Not for the royal family, it hasn't. Because as you know, there is Archwell Philanthropies, there is Archwell Productions, and there has been several incredibly successful royal tours abroad that cost very little to the taxpayers and that was planned out of the control, away from and without any input from Clarence House, Kensington Palace, and all those courtiers, without the Foreign Office, just Harry and Meghan's team. And of course, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Incredibly successful. The last royal tour that Will and Kate decided that they would grace the world with their appearance. Let me see, which came first? Was it Boston? Which, of course, I don't think that's really considered official, seeing that it was for Earth Flop. Or would you say the Caribbean tour, when Will and Kate nearly lost half of the Commonwealth on an all-expense-paid vacation? You could pick or choose either one of those. But however you slice it, they were complete failures. And that is why every time the Sussexes are embarking on a trip somewhere, panic sets in. And because they have so much notice about this trip to Australia, the panic has been at a whole nother level. Because number one is Harry and Meghan. Right there, that's enough. And then next, they're going to Australia. William has not been to Australia as the Prince of Wales. And so, of course, they feel that Harry and Meghan should not go until William has a chance to go. The other thing, of course, that bothered them was Harry going to Ukraine. Because William was supposed to go there first. I just want you to think about that. Whatever Harry does, especially since William has become Prince of Wales, there's always going to be this thing about William was supposed to do that first. The trip to Jordan, right before war breaks out in the region. Now, that is supposed to be one of those stories that William is going to tell his grandkids, how grandpapa was in a region of the world that was on the brink of war. One of many stories that he'll probably never have a chance to tell because he's not really going to do anything. If he had intentions to do all that stuff, he would have done it. When he went to Paris that time. No, actually, when he went to the Vatican, the last time he went to the Vatican, he didn't even want to go. They had to force him to go. Some global statesman. So anyway, check out that article in your leisure. You will find it very interesting. Now, I'm going to just share one additional part with you. Or should I let that be a surprise? Well, I'll just tell you. Let me see. I got to find it first. Oh, well, I cannot find it. I'm just looking for it. Oh, got it. Let me see. Oh, no, I don't have it. Give me just a second here. When I saw it, my eyes got big. My eyes got big when I saw it. Oh, here it is. Okay. There are discussions in the palace circles about how do we harness Harry and Meghan and this tremendous global attention they get. How do we draw them back? Because laying down the law and ticking them off doesn't work at all. One idea, you ready for this? One idea which appealed to ministers would be to give Harry and Meghan a role as trade envoys. Following in the footsteps of the Duke of York, who performed that role until 2011. A senior government official said the best trade envoys are energetic and care about trade. So that is 2 ticks. Trade envoy. Trade envoy. Harry and Meghan. Could you imagine the trap? Could you imagine how terrible that would have been? And I'm going to tell you why it would be a problem. Because they had a certain expectation with Andrew that Andrew was going to make sure that people got paid. And I'm not talking about staff. I'm talking about some of the stuff that he was doing, How do I put it? The trade envoy stuff. Okay, alleged inside information. That's what I'm trying not to say. Alleged sharing of inside information. I am going to allege that that's a big part of trade envoy. That is not an official part of it, but if Harry and Meghan were occupying that role, there will be people expecting them to operate much in the same way that the Duke of York was operating. Now, I have no doubt that they would have been incredible. But now you don't want to fool with that. You don't want to fool with something like that. Right? Right? What a setup. That's what I was thinking. I told you, when I saw that, my jaw just about dropped. I was like, trade envoy, Duke of York. So they dodged one that time. Getting out of that country was the smartest move they could have made. That was very shrewd on their part, because had they stayed, it would have been a total setup. It would have been a total setup. Willie is already involved with some very shady characters. Charles has been involved with shady characters. Harry has managed to steer clear of any involvement with those kind of people. Whatever they say, they ain't got nothing on him with any of that stuff, even though they tried to pull him into some stuff, with Charles that time, where they were trying to pull his name into it. And Harry said, no, that wasn't me, boo. And even had tried to warn them to stay away from this person. But did they listen? No. All that superior breeding and such. So, yeah, I saw that. I was like, wow. So you guys, make sure you check out that article. Did I put the link no, I didn't. I'm going to put the link at the top of the chat. And you can see how things have evolved in comparison to what was going on back in 2019. Well, I cannot find the link. I'll just do it again. And I'll pin that to the top of the chat. And check it out at your leisure. Okay. Yep. That was what was that Harry said? An institutional stitch up? A classic institutional stitch up. Absolutely. Absolutely. Heaven must have sent me an angel. Now, this is one of my favorites. I'm going to share it with you again because considering what we just discussed, I think this is a perfect time for Jasmine. Especially since we're talking about herbs and fragrances and such. Herbs. Okay, Jasmine. Okay.
We either love to be on one side or your family, a really polarizing subject that we either love to be on one side or the other of. And I think it's really unfair for us to make decisions about what they should be doing and whether they should be coming back. They're a family. If they want them to come back and they decide to spend time with their grandma, then they should do. And the idea that you're calling it could be a distraction and Prince Charles is worried. Well, the distraction proves that beside the Queen, Harry and Meghan are the most popular royals. And so basically,
I think they're the most
you only need to look at
controversial.
today's front pages and the whole weekend to see that Harry and Meghan, if they can splash a picture of Harry and Meghan anywhere with a headline, they will do it. So I'm a producer and I have also worked for Netflix. So I will say this to you. We all say that Harry and Meghan want their privacy, but they want to be in the public eye. They just didn't want to be bullied, abused and harassed by the press. They didn't say that they were never going to come out again and do things on their own terms.
No, they are
shining a light on the Invictus games, heroes and veterans who should have a light shone on them.
You cannot be a royal and get rich, and Prince Andrew's tried to do that, and it's disastrous. At least they've said we divorce the royal family and we'll get rich separately.
Are you really holding them to different standards than the rest of the royal royal family, because we have a whole list that we could bring up of Fergie, Andrew and all the rest of them who have tried to use their royal connections to get meetings and business deals for people outside of this country with our government, that you're holding them to completely different standards.
Let's have some calls. Tom.
People love them. They're popular.
That's very interesting, yeah.
And that is why she hasn't been back on that show. Oh, Lord. That's why she hasn't been back. Well, Andrew and Fergie and all the rest of them. That has only aged very well with time. It made sense then, and it still makes more sense now. People got their nose out of joint because of Harry and Meghan's popularity. It's not so much that people are just in it for the money. When it comes to those tabloid media reporters, they have their marching orders, and there's a whole infrastructure which is built around targeting of people whose values may be very different from their own, who have embarrassed or outshined the royal family. Take your pick, but it is always part of the agenda is to tear other people down. And of course, Tom Bauer, he writes this book. Tom Bauer has guaranteed himself a very comfortable retirement. He is going to do quite well as a pensioner because he has all these side hustles. You keep going on this show and that gig and this podcast and such. He can do that the rest of his life. And that goes for all of them. Because as he was saying, Tom Bauer, I saw earlier today, where he was on some show saying that he only targets people who, I forgot how he put it, but I guess anyone who wants to have their cake and eat it kind of mentality. That's what he was trying to say. And I'm just like, but who made you the judge, the jury, and the executioner? How did you get that role? Why is it up to you? And why only certain people? He had his marching orders. This is what he was told to do. And especially if you are a monarchist, then it just kind of takes on a whole nother meaning. And for a lot of them, it is to maintain that institution, to maintain the status quo. Now, a celebrity death in your lifetime that hit you the hardest. A celebrity death in your lifetime that hit you the hardest. I know this is quite a departure, isn't it? But I saw this and I was just like, oh, that's interesting. I have at least 1, 2. I remember when I was I in grade school? I think I was in grade school. And I woke up that morning and I found out that Minnie Riperton had passed away. And it was all people talked about all day. And all day we were singing Memory Lane. Yep, all day we were singing Memory Lane. So that was the first one. I remember when they told me about Elvis, I didn't believe it. Not that I was a big Elvis fan or anything like that, but it just didn't seem possible. And I guess we all have to agree, Princess Diana, Oh yeah, Whitney Houston and Michael Jackson. Whitney Houston and Michael Jackson. And you might as well throw Prince in there. The three of them. Whitney, Michael, and Prince. Let's see. Fairness Squatties, Harry and Meghan Enterprises, gone ahead and trademarked the name. Cha-ching, cha-ching. Let me see. Prince and Kobe Bryant. Let me see. JFK. Another Whitney. Let me see here. Hey, Legs, I didn't know you were here. Welcome, welcome. Oh, what is that? I'm sorry I missed this. I think that he was going to get hit with a lawsuit from Miss Doria for that first book, and I hope that she takes everything from him. Oh, is that when he had accused her of going to prison, Tom Bauer? I hope there's a lawsuit. I really do. Let me see. Luther Vandross, Kobe Bryant. John Garcia says Michael Jackson. Yeah, definitely Diana. I'm going to say that Diana, let me see. That was one of those rare times where I actually found myself weeping. I was doing okay until they showed Harry's note on top of the coffin. I was doing okay until I saw that. But when I saw that note that said Mummy, I lost it right then and there. I was inconsolable at that point. Well, there's a soul singer by the name of Sharon Jones that I actually met. And she was like this Cinderella story. Her career was just starting to take off. Now, she had been in the business for years, right? Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings, they had all original soul music. And I actually went to see her show a couple of times. And so I began to follow her on Facebook. And then we began to exchange messages on the Facebook messages, of course. And anyway, she had taken some time off because of her cancer diagnosis. And I would send her anything that I thought would make her smile. And she would send me messages back and forth. And so that's like the only celebrity that I had ever gotten close to. And again, she did not make it to that household name, but she had been on all the talk shows. And it was like she had got passed up by the industry years before. And by the time she had made a name for herself, I believe she was supposed to perform for the Grammys before she was diagnosed with the cancer. And by the time the Grammys came around, she was too weak to go. I believe it was the Grammy Awards, but she was too weak to go. And so that was her, big opportunity to get a much larger audience. But what made Sharon Jones begin to really make a name for herself was the college kids. She would do all these shows and weddings and this and that, but it was the college kids that really pushed her over the top. It was their loyalty and fandom that helped to build her career. So when she died, I was absolutely devastated for like a whole week. I could barely function because we had got so close. Oh, thank you for remembering Gianna. Thank you so much, because we often, I just did it myself, didn't think to mention her. Watched every bit and cried. I think it hit me because our kids are the same age and she was so much in the media. My daughter was born early on September 1st, not the 15th. Wow. So you were expecting on the 15th. Yeah, that is very, very I guess you know, it's like locked in your memory now. Tina Turner, Donna Summers, Natalie Cole, Prince, Michael Jackson, and yes, Sharon. Oh, you know Sharon Jones too. Nice. I learned the hard way that your love is true. I learned the hard way that we are through. That was her big song. I learned the hard way. Well, I tell you, when it comes to Princess Diana, I am not exaggerating. Princess Diana was like huge in the US, right? So big, so big. And Mo Shannon, I'm sure most of y'all remember Mo Shannon. Her grandmother screamed this primal scream that you could hear all over the neighborhood, screaming and screaming. And she said it scared her so bad, she got up and ran. She thought someone had broke into the house or something. And her grandmother was screaming because of Diana. And she, being a very staunch Catholic, her grandmother went out to the garden where she had a statue of the Virgin Mother, and she lit candles and she prayed and she sobbed and she prayed. And I tell you, you have to wonder to yourself, how could Diana be so big in the US? I don't know. I don't know. People just love Diana. And that was all to it. Diana was so much more than just a princess to a lot of people. Let's see. Aaliyah died a week before 9/11. Oh, I didn't know that. Well, oh, by the way, thank you so much for the super chat. Sorry about that. Okay. All right. I'm going to go on to the next thing. RFK Jr. Oh, yeah. Yeah. He was so young. He was so young. Oh, and Chadwick Boseman. Did you guys know that Michael B. Jordan, he wore a pin on his jacket, jacket that he wore the night of the Oscars? It was on the back of his jacket. It was like a Starburst pin. And he wore that to honor Chadwick Boseman. And you know, you guys, Farrah Fawcett died the same day that Michael Jackson died. Did you guys know that? Farrah Fawcett died the same day that Michael Jackson died. And because Michael Jackson died that day, not only did a lot of people not know or not remember that she died the same day, a lot of people didn't even know she died because, of course, the world was consumed with the loss of Michael Jackson that people just kind of missed it. Which is, you know, it kind of makes me sad because I liked Farrah Fawcett. Okay, I got a few more things, and I did not want to go over an hour, so thank you all for your input on that one. But yeah, I saw that earlier today on the social media, and I thought I would ask the question. Yeah, Michael overshadowed her and everyone else that passed away that week. Well, the king of pop, the king of pop. You know, Chadwick Boseman, he really was very much a king. He really was. T'Challa. He inspired so many people. He inspired so many people. And that he had a pretty, you know, long career given his age. He had kind of a long career, all things considered. And he was in the prime of his life. He was in the prime of his life, poor guy. And all I could think about is the excitement of all of those young people going to see Black Panther. And then, of course, people dressing up. Black Panther became an event. And I don't think anybody else could have played that part. I just don't think anyone else could have ever played that part. That was the highest earning movie ever. It had beat out Titanic. I think it had beat out, what's that movie with the blue people? It had beat out all those movies. It had earned more than anything else before it, which is a testament to the entire cast and especially to Chadwick Boseman. So oh, okay. Knowing me, I probably slept through it. I probably slept through the whole thing. I slept through 9/11. When I woke up, the world was different. Oh, Joan Garcia, that breaks my heart to hear you say that, because I know you just didn't want it to be true. And isn't that the way it is? They must have made a mistake. It couldn't have happened. Oh, the Smurfs. I don't know what the name of that movie is. All them blue people that lived in the tree. Well, I had worked nights. I always worked nights. And when I woke up, I think it was around, I'm going to say maybe 11, maybe 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And I called my best friend at the time, and I was like, what happened? I say, okay, let me get off this phone so I can get caught up. And yeah, everything was very different. But yeah, I'd worked late. I probably didn't go to bed until about 5:30, something like that. Okay. New. Yeah. Ooh, hey, ooh, bam, 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 ba-da-da-da-da-bam, ba-bam, bam, bam. This will be an everlasting love. This will be. I cannot see Natalie Cole's name without going new. Yeah. Loving you is some kind of wonderful. Okay. I'm going to go on to something else. Oh, you were in music class. Okay. I would ask the question. I would ask the question, but that'd be so bad. Like what famous person where you just went, finally? Or I thought they were gone already. But let's not go there. That's even tacky for us. Woo! Did you ever see that clip where the lady, they asked her, what did she think about Margaret Thatcher? And she said, I hope they drive a stake through her heart and hammer it into the earth so she can't rise up. Something like that, she said. And oh my God, the look on that lady's face, the look on her face, that is like one of my favorite reactions ever. I hope they drive a stake through her heart. Let me see if I can find that. Reaction to Margaret Thatcher's death. I'm going to scroll through and see if oh, there she is. There she is. Okay, I'm going to let you guys hear this. Mind you, this is somebody's grandmother. I'm thinking she's from Scotland, so I'm not sure that you'll understand what she's saying, but I get it. Oh my God, this lady is hilarious. So let me do this so you can get a visual.
Good? Not a bit of good. Not a bit. I'd put a stake through her heart and garlic around her neck to make sure she never come back.
Isn't that a pretty horrible thing to say when her funeral's going on right now?
Too bad. Too bad.
Let me do that again, just for your consideration.
Aeroflot is the flat.
Good? Not a bit of good. Not a bit. I'd put a stake through her heart and garlic around her neck to make sure she never come back.
Isn't that a pretty horrible thing to say when her funeral's going on right now?
Too bad. Too bad.
She said I would drive a stake through her heart and put garlic around her neck to make sure she never comes back. She said, he said, what did you think about Margaret Thatcher? She said, not a bit of good, not a bit of good. I drive a stake through her heart and garlic around her neck to make sure she never comes back. I love her. I love her. I absolutely adore this woman. I am going to build a shrine to her later. I am going to put a stake, a wooden stake, of course. I'm going to put garlic, maybe a picture of Margaret Thatcher. What else? Hey, Anastasia. Not a bit of good. Not a bit of good. I drive a stake through her heart and put garlic around her neck. I just think this lady was randomly solicited for a response in the pouring rain. And rather than getting out of the rain to go home, rather than mincing words with false sympathy, she decided to go medieval. She decided to go back to the medieval times. I love her. Kiss, kiss. I love her. Not a bit of good. Kate has no concept of hygiene whatsoever. Not only were we shocked. I'm sorry. Why am I saying that? Not only were we shocked by her filthy fungus infected toenails. Remember the toenails the other day, but here she is dropping hair and dandruff onto food without a care in the world. Well, I don't know if I'm going to go that far, but she was yanking at her hair and scratching the side of her head. I don't think they should let those people handle food. Somebody, and see, this is what's wrong. Kate has never worked in a restaurant before, right? She's never worked in a restaurant before. If you've ever have taken basic hygiene, or if you've grown up in a structured household, then you know you don't handle food like that, and you don't touch your hair and your nose and scratch your scalp around food. That's disgusting. It is absolutely disgusting. But they routinely do that. That makes you not want to eat at those places. You know what I mean? If you let somebody come off the street scratching their head and rubbing their nose and scratching, pulling strands of hair out of their face, that's disgusting. I'm just saying. Some people ought not be around food. I just felt a need to point it out because if it was Meghan, that's all I got to say. If it was Meghan, you never hear the end of it. So petty is what petty does. Petty. And I'm petty. Please, I hope there's some derangers watching. I hope there's some derangers watching. Thought I was kidding, right? You thought I was kidding. I wish I was. Ear, scalp, nose, hair. Ear, scalp, nose, hair. Repeat after me. Ear, scalp, nose, hair. I know. That's cheese right there. She's doing that over that big chunk of cheese. Ear, scalp, nose, hair. I think she's got it. By Jove, she's got it. Ear, scalp, nose, hair. Ear, scalp, nose, hair. We're going to have to do a musical. Yeah, we're going to have to do a musical. We'll call it Tacky Katie. Yeah, Tacky Katie. Ear, scalp, nose, hair. I wonder if we can get Julie Andrews to do the soundtrack. Woo. Ears, scalp, nose, hair. I think she's got it. Anyway, I hope I didn't ruin anybody's dinner. I'd drive a stake through her heart and garlic around her neck and make sure she never comes back. What a lovely lady. I love her. And of course, another episode of This Is Your Life. This is what it's all come to, Katie. You fought so hard to get into that family. You even wore a see-through dress to get into that family. I do feel for the kids, though. I hate the kids being exposed to something like this. I don't like it for the kids. I love it for the adults, but I don't like it for the kids. You know how I am about kids. I just don't like that for the kids. Now, on a brighter note, Emma Greedy is going to be on the April Harper's Bazaar. Yeah, check it out. Emma Greedy, the April Harper's Bazaar. How cool is that? Now, I couldn't get any of the pictures because I don't think it's released yet. But if you're a fan of Emma Greedy, just know that she's going to be featured in the Harper's Bazaar for April. And of course, that is poor Kate. Kate, who, shall we say it, doesn't seem to be very pleased with her life right now. There's yet another set. There's a few photos of Kate looking so sad and down in the mouth. And then, of course, Kate's mother. I found yet another image of her mother overstepping the mark. I mean, look at that. Look at that. Camilla looked like she's ready to just rip her face off. Whereas our dear Afro Annie, she decided, you know what? Let me just take a look at this racing form because I can't shut this woman up. And she keeps blowing her breath in my face. So let me pretend like I'm reading this racing form, leaving Camilla to deal with her. I wish I could find the video. But Camilla looks none too pleased. And you all know that Princess Anne does not suffer fools lightly. So, but that big gaping grin, like mother, like daughter. And then, of course, Camilla, she had to go and walk it off. But you know where she's on her way to, right? You know what she's about to do. Come on, you know what she's about to do. Hello, Senior Royal here. Yes, Senior Royal here. Carole Middleton. You know, she went to go and drop a dime. She had to go and drop a dime on Carole Middleton. So she quickly got out of that place and went and found the nearest landline phone because, you know, with the tampon gate, she prefers to use the landline. She went and found the nearest landline phone so that she can phone in an article about Carole Middleton. And of course, Queen Camilla appears to pull rank as Kate chats aimlessly with Melania during the state visit and ushers Princess back toward William. Yes, get away from me, peasant. The Queen appeared to pull rank. That's the Queen consort, actually. Kate chats with Melania during state visit and ushers Princess back toward Willie. You're a peasant. Get out of here. And this is like one of my favorite pictures. I'm obsessed with this. I don't know who made this, but I'm obsessed. I got rid of Meghan Markle. I got rid of Princess Diana. I'm an immigrant who pushed the Obama birther conspiracy. All of those, unfortunately, happen to be true. All of those are true. So I think they have a lot in common. All three of them. Conspiring, backstabbing, sneaky, malicious. Oh, you know what? I almost forgot to talk about this. Kate Middleton fails to impress with old flight attendant outfit during latest state visit. Not that they had that on the list. Yes, there are people that are still writing about this. Kate wanted her outfits to be viral. Well, guess what? You've done it, honey. You have gone viral for the worst possible reasons. And then we're going to close with this. Remember the other day, we were speaking about the 1893 World's Fair. Well, there you have it. I wanted to show you the Grand Canal. And I found these colorized photos. I have two of them. That was in Chicago back in 1893. Now, remember, these images are colorized to give you an idea of how things would have appeared at the time. The idea was to create something that would show the world that not only Chicago, but the United States has a history rooted in the old world, right? And not all the architects were happy. There was a few architects, including Louis Sullivan, who thought that it was enough of looking back to Europe. We need to establish our own type of architecture. And another person who felt the same way was Frank Lloyd Wright. So, but yeah, most of those architects at the time would go on to build some of the world's first skyscrapers, the steel frame building. And here's the Statue of the Republic. This statue was supposed to give you invoke the Statue of Liberty type of feeling, right? It was a very large statue. However, it no longer exists. But there is a scale model, which is in the same park where the original statue was located, and it is covered in gold leaf. And so that was the entrance to the 1893 World's Fair, like right behind her. That is the entrance. And the lake, I believe Lake Michigan, is to her back. But yeah, so that statue was designed to celebrate the United States as a republic. And yeah, so all of those buildings are gone. The only thing that survives is the Museum of Science and Industry. All the other buildings were made of very temporary material, like a plaster and chicken wire, wood, but there were steel frames, but they would have had to strip away all of the decorative elements and then put marble or limestone, or they'd have to replace it with something more durable. Otherwise, this was only meant to last for 6 months. And then by October, the World's Fair closed down and it was abandoned. And over time, squatters took over. And during the winter month, as you know, it gets cold in Chicago. So guess what happened? There was a series of fires that destroyed most of what was left. Okay. So anyway, I may come back later, you guys, like in about 3 hours. And I'm going to go for now. And I will see you guys later. Connie Bomber! Hey, Connie Bomber. Let me see. I'm looking back at some comments here. Let me see. Under the tent. Yeah, we talked about that yesterday, actually. Yep, we talked about that yesterday. Let me see. I had a problem with them under the tent with Kate and Camilla being framed, embraced by the Nigerians. The Nigerians were the guests, not the host. Oh, so you're saying it was really for them to be the ones to embrace. I see what you mean. But yeah, we talked about that yesterday. But when I come back later, I'll probably find some more gossip about that event. How's that?
My D12 visa.
Okay. All right, you guys. I'm going to say goodnight. Love you guys. I will see you later. And let's see. Oh, thank you, moderators, for keeping this a very safe space. Cheers. God save the content creators. And don't forget to hit the like button.